Hey there, everybody. I'm here to talk about 13 Assassins. I love the film. I really don't know what else to say about it. This is the third time I've seen it. I saw it twice in the theater. I got this for my birthday quite a few months ago. Just now getting around to watching it because I am trying to formulate my top 10 of 2011. And I know that 13 Assassins will be in it. I'm just not sure where. I love the film. I'm going to give it a 9, definitely. I feel like I should give it a 10 because I've given out so few 10s this year. But I gave out a lot of 10s last year, so I guess it's like evening out. I really love it. It's about 13 assassins assigned to covertly assassinate a evil lord who is rising to power. And if he rises to power, he will certainly bring havoc and destruction upon Japan. It is a period film. It takes place in, I guess what they would call feudal Japan in the Shogun era. I'm not sure about what year that is. I want to say maybe the 1400s. Again, not entirely sure, but it's transportive. I mean, I was taken to that time and place. It was just really beautiful, and I felt honest. It seemed like everything, even down to like the lighting. There's a lot of candlelit scenes, and I'm sure that there was artificial lighting involved, but it really seems like, natural candle lighting. Reminded me a lot in that way of Unforgiven, the great Clint Eastwood film. Very dark, at night. All the scenes are pretty much lit by candle. So it's, at times very dark, but it works. It so works. Let's see here. A lot of names that I'm probably going to butcher here. Let's see. First and foremost, it's directed by Takashi Miike, the great Japanese torture porn. Like, I don't know, the whole scene here in America, the Saw films, Final Destination, Hostel, whatever, take your pick. It all is just copying Miike. I think this is his best film. Hands down, this is his best film. I haven't seen The Audition in a while. If this isn't his best film, then Audition is. But I'm pretty sure this is better than Audition. Okay, so we've got directed by Takashi Miike. Original story. Again, it's like a true story. I'm sure there's a novel out there that will tell you the actual historical details of the story. I think it's very interesting that they have a character design credit. Usually I only see like design or character design in animation, but here we have a character design credit, which I find fascinating. Original story by Shoichiro Ikemiya. Screenplay by Daisuke Tengen. Daisuke Tengen wrote it. Great script. That's by far, the highlight. This is it's 2 hours. And like the last 45 minutes is an epic battle, and I've talked to a lot of people who've seen the film, and they're like, they thought it was slow at the beginning and then amazing at the front, or at the end. But if it weren't for the beginning, there'd be no setup. There'd be no emotional investment in the last 45-50 minutes. So I don't really understand their point. You can't have the second half without the first half. And I think the first half is awesome. That's where you get all the philosophy. That's where you get all the acting. It's good stuff. The screenplay, it's just immensely quotable. And that's really what I love about the film, and that's probably why I'll go ahead and give it a 10, is because it really speaks to me. That meaning like it speaks for me. There's just a lot of classic lines. Now, I really can't rattle them off like I can to you from like a Coen Brothers film because, it's not my language. And so much about what makes a quote memorable is the way the actor delivers it. And here, although the acting is beautiful and the language is just musical throughout, it doesn't stick in my head, and so I have to read it. And, if it's in my voice, I'm not going to remember it as well. But there's a lot of lines, philosophies that the samurai, the Ronin, express that, again, I feel like I could be saying it. I feel that it speaks for me and it speaks, directly to my heart. So I find it immensely enjoyable and just endlessly quotable. I can't really... one that just pops right to my head is the man who values his life. The man who values his own life dies a dog's death. Yeah, okay, that's, true. All the gambling, the only true gamble is life. I've said that for years, especially since moving to Los Angeles. Again, my philosophies are just perfectly, captured in this film. So it's a very, personal film for me. So maybe you won't get into it as much as I do. But if you love samurai films, if you love period pieces, if you love foreign films, if you love Takeshi Miike, you're going to love this film. It looks amazing. It's so well directed. I think it's Takeshi Miike's best film. I also think it's his best directorial effort. It's definitely the most he has going on. Again, the competition for me is Audition. And in a nutshell, Audition is a man and a woman in a room. So it's just two totally different films. And you've just got a lot going on. There's so much movement. And at times, it does get like outlandish in a way, but certainly grounded, not outlandish in, say, like the 300 way or, any other epic battle film that, just comes down to like, how is this even possible? How? And again, you've got basically 13 men. And again, they have set a trap. They've got a surprise on their side and a well executed plan. But again, you've got 13 men going up against 300 men, which I'm sure is relatively true. I would imagine. Again, these are Japan's greatest sword masters, so I don't doubt it. Kind of, but there is like a lot of. How could they not be overtaken? It's kind of funny to watch, but, again, there's samurai fighting, and oftentimes one-on-one, at most 2 or 3 on 1. But there's so many people. There's just so many people, and they're all in motion. And it's kind of funny to watch while 2 people are fighting, the extras in the background. They're just kind of moving back and forth and shadow fighting, if you will. So if as long as I didn't pay too much attention to that, and because that's like standard movie fare. If Bruce Lee did it, then you really can't complain. So Bruce Lee's fighting one guy at a time, no one else is attacking for whatever reason, and they're all just kind of moving around, going crazy, waiting for their chance to die. And so it's kind of like, I could see where, someone might think, like, well, why aren't they just rushing them? Why aren't they just attacking en masse and getting rid of these 13 guys? It just doesn't work that way. I thought it took really good care of its characters. Every single character gets, like, their moment to shine, both in terms of action and acting. They all get their glorious death scene or, a fantastic action sequence, and they all get their good monologue, or at least exposing their characters' intentions. So all of the acting is great, and the writing pays attention to each of the characters. I mean, you do meet a lot of characters. I can remember the first time I saw this, I was overwhelmed for like the first 10 minutes trying to keep all these people straight. I hate to sound racist, but they do look similar to each other, so I was like, okay, who is that? And didn't we just meet him? Or so again, there was like some adapting that had to go on. And so, yes, you may be overwhelmed by the amount of characters in the film, because you do meet a lot of people right away. But then we get to know them more, so it's helpful. Great bad guy. I mean, the bad guy is just, I mean, borderline cartoon supervillainy. Just heartless. Like, you can't even imagine like someone could walk the earth like this. But so great bad guy, disturbing. Lots. I mean, it's a Takeshi Miike film, so if you're gonna watch a Takeshi Miike film and not be disturbed, then you're gonna be disappointed. Well, you'll be disturbed by a lot of things in this film, I think. All the costume, it's just beautiful. It just looks beautiful. All the costumes are great. Again, it's a transportive piece of art. I mean, it took me back to that time. Everything's dirty, everything's muddy. It just seemed very true and authentic. Let's see, what else do I need to talk about? The ending is a little puzzling. Like, there's this supernatural, mystical element that comes in at the end that, kind of leaves you thinking about, what happened, what's it mean? And I can't give you an answer. If you've seen the film and you know what I'm talking about, I really don't have a theory on that. I mean, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil, but I don't really know what it means. I don't know if it's a ghost or, I just don't know. I just don't know what happens at the end. But I think that's fantastic. That makes me love it even more, that I just can't put my finger on it. Well, what else do I want to say? All the acting, fantastic. I didn't really recognize any of the actors. Maybe one or two, but not really. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I mean, I love this film. Other than that, I love it. I think it's definitely one of the better films of 2011. It's Takeshi Miike's best film. Enough said, I guess. Just fantastic. I hope you've seen it. The Blu-ray looked beautiful. Again, the film is very gritty. There's a lot of dirt to it. There's a lot of darkness. So maybe the Blu-ray isn't exactly necessary because it's just not bright and beautiful. And sometimes it is. But, again, the Blu-ray is always the way to go. But, gosh, seeing this on the big screen was definitely one of the best theatrical experiences I had this year, the past year. I just left that theater feeling like I had, not really seen anything like it before. And the last 45 minutes, the epic battle, is just amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. And you never really miss anything. That's kind of what I wanted to say. We get to see all the action, and I never really found myself wondering, because the camera focuses, or the action focuses on, a couple samurai at a time, and I never found myself wondering, like, well, what's the other guy doing? Because sooner or later we'd be there, and it seemed like, even though we were away from that character for, 2 to 3 minutes, it seemed like 2 to 3 minutes had actually passed in his life, so that he had killed more people, or he had been injured. It seemed like the action continued when we were not there. So I, again, felt very real. Now I'm really running out of time. God, what did I want to say on that? It just the direction captures everything. I mean, the choreography of this battle is just, it's just amazing. You just can't even talk about it. It just is something else. And 13 Assassins is something else. So there you go. It's a 10. I'll give it a 10 because I haven't given out many 10s this year. So there you go. 13 Assassins is a 10. Thank you very much.